All right, so plan for today is to work through parts 7 through, let's just do 7 through 12. That should be a good amount. And we'll see how that goes. Starting with part 7. Part 7 is probably the hardest one on here because it requires a different part feature or part tool that you haven't used, probably. All right, so for part 7, the tool that we're going to use is the Loft Tool. And this is one of the few times that you are going to have 2 unconsumed sketches at the same time. We're going to do one sketch of the front using just lines, connecting, making a line like on part J from the front. But then we're going to make a new sketch that is 4 inches behind it and draw the back, and then use the Loft tool to connect them. So let's start with the front. The front is 5 tall and 10 wide with 1 inch sort of shoulders. So we'll just use the line tool for that. And let's get a line tool. And starting here, going this way, we'll dimension this to 10. Get a line tool here, going up, dimension this to 5. Line tool, dimension that to 5. And then from the endpoints here, 1 inch in. Remember, line dimension, so on. And then the way that you make this front, there's a couple ways to do it. You can use create a work point, which will just give you something to snap to that we can dimension. That will be this point right here, which is 1 from the bottom and 5 from the side. So we're going to get a point and just put somewhere around there. We can dimension this point. The distance from that point to the ground is 1, and the distance from that point to the side is 5. And now we can get a line that connects this endpoint to here, which will connect to there. Then we'll finish sketch and zoom out. Okay, so this is the front, but we need to draw the back, and we need some place to sketch. So what we need to do is create a new work plane, but we want a work plane that's offset from a plane that we already have. And the plane that we already have that we started with is the origin plane, the XY plane. And the amount of offset should be 4, technically -4. Okay, so now we have a new work plane that you can see is back there is 4 inches behind the front. We're going to start a 2D sketch on that plane. Now you can see that we are drawing behind where we started. I'm going to turn the visibility off on this work plane. Just right click, uncheck visibility, because it's just sort of generally showing you where that new work plane is. And so now we need to draw the back, which the back is very similar. It has a 5-inch tall side, same across the bottom, same up the other side. It just has a different size sort of shoulders, and then the V connects differently. But because they share this edge, the bottom, and the left side, we can actually just use the project geometry tool and project this line, and this line, and it draws those lines exactly in the correct place without us having to draw them or dimension them. So that will save us time. And so now I want to draw on the back, or draw on that face, and you can see how we're sort of drawing not where we were before. To make it easier, I'm going to turn off the visibility of sketch 1. I'm done with project geometry. I'm going to do right click, uncheck visibility for sketch 1. You can see we're working on sketch 2, and that will let us draw on sketch 2 without stuff getting in the way. And so the dimensions are, we have the shoulders are 3 in from either side, and then there's a V that's centered just like the front, but it's 2 down from the top. So we'll get a line that goes from here to here, dimension that to 3, and a line from here to here, dimension that to 3. And then again, let's get a work point that's centered, dimension the distance from there to the side is 5, and the distance from there to the top this time is 2. And so that gives us this work point to work with, which we can get a line from here, making sure to snap from there to there to there. Okay, we can finish sketch, turn on the visibility of sketch 1. So now we have sort of a framework for the front and the back. Again, this is one of the few times where you'll have 2 unconsumed sketches, but you have to. And so we can use the Loft tool. First sketch is the front, second sketch is the back. And you can see it's like an extrusion, but it sort of extrudes one into the other. And this is good for like complex shapes that have weird angles on them. Okay, so there's part 7. Part 8, and I think we're only going to do 7, 8, 9, and 10 on this one just to keep it a little shorter. For part 8, we're going to make sort of the wedge shape, which is just like this, and extrude it that way. And then we'll worry about cutting off the front, or the front corner. But the wedge shape is 2 tall here, 5 deep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tall. So let's just go ahead and make a new part. And you can start the sketch on the XY plane, but because the sketch that the sketch I want to make is sort of the right side, I'm actually going to start my sketch on the YZ plane because that corresponds to the right side. But it doesn't really matter for this type of thing. And so we're just going to use the line tool. We're going to go straight up 2. We're going to go from here to the back, distance of 5. We're going to go from here up the back side, a distance of 6. And we're going to go from here to the front. It'll be a closed loop. And if I do right click OK, you can see it's fully constrained, even though I haven't dimensioned the slope line. We know where it starts and ends. That's all you need to know. And then we can extrude this, and the width, I believe, is 8. All right, so tricky part for this front corner, your instinct might be to put a sketch. Your instinct might be to put a sketch on this face and draw this triangle right here to cut it away. But you can't do that. I mean, you can do that, but it won't work because if you just draw this line, and assuming you dimensioned it correctly, if you put your sketch there and extrude this and switch it to cut extrude, it's going to cut back in, which is clearly not what we want. The way, well, one of the ways to do this is we're going to put a sketch on the bottom here. And if we put a sketch like right here, when we cut it and cut it straight up, it will clear off that face the way we want it. So we're going to start a sketch on the bottom face, get a triangle, or excuse me, a line that connects from there to there. And just to make sure you're sketching on the correct face, you can switch it back, switch the view to make sure we're drawing in this correct corner. And the dimensions of this are, I believe, 3 in. Yeah, 3 from the side that way and 3 from the side that way. So let's dimension the distance from here to here, make that 3. And from here to here is 3. And finish sketch, extrude, choose this, switch it to cut, and cut through all. And make sure you're looking at it from the correct angle. Okay, so you click there, and there you go. There's part 8. Okay, let's do parts 9 and 10. They're very similar. 9, we're definitely going to start off with a chunk, and then we'll worry about the curves. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide, and its height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tall and 4 deep. So we'll just start with a block. And we need a rectangle that is 9 wide, 6 tall, finish sketch, and extrude it 4. Okay, so there are 2 different features we need to worry about here. This one right here, it's an arc. It would require an arc right here, but because if you like followed out here with an imaginary line continuing that edge and follow this edge, you can see the center point for this is right here, which is 3 in from the side. So we can just put a sketch on the front and make a big circle and cut extruded back. And that circle has a radius of 3, except circles are dimensioned by their diameter. So we just have to make it 6. So we're going to get a circle here, snap it to that top corner, dimension it to 6, and we'll finish sketch. And that concept of circles being dimensioned by their diameter is a forever thing. Make sure you choose everything that you want to get rid of. And we'll switch it to cut and through all. Okay, that does that. And the other side is, it is an arc. We're not going to use a circle, but you can see the center point, which is what this little slightly thicker mark is right there. That means it's 2 inches in from either way, which means the radius is 2. But the tool we're going to use is the Fillet Tool, not fillet. It's the Fillet Tool. And this is just a round over tool. The edge we want to fillet is this top edge, but we want it to be a radius of 2. And there you go. Okay, fillet is a part tool. There is a fillet as a sketch tool, but it really messes things up if you aren't sure what's going on. So you're just going to use the fillet as a part feature and to round over that corner. This all could have been done in a single sketch, like just making this shape and then extruding it 4, but I think this is a little bit easier. And then for part 10 is easier than 9. It's just our block, but a full circle cut out of the middle. And our block dimensions are, I think maybe the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 10 left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tall and 4 deep. So let's get a rectangle. 10 wide. 6 tall. Finish sketch. Zoom out. Extrude and extrude it 4. And then that sort of half pipe shape, we'll put a sketch there. And we'll get a circle, and that sketch or that circle is centered. Okay, this is all center mark. You can see from here, it's 5 from that way and 5 from that way. So that's good. And it has a radius of 3. 3 in either direction gets you to the edge of the arc. So we're just going to do another circle. It snaps to the top center. And the dimension again is 6. And we'll finish sketch. Wait, is it 6? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is 6. And so we'll extrude, choose what we want to cut, which is that. Switch it to cut and through all, hit OK. And there you go. That is parts 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, there you go.